It is March 19th. This is the Public Facilities, Arts, and Culture Committee. We do not have anyone on public comment signed up, so we're just going to go ahead, call the roll. I am present. Councilmember Cap. Are you present?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Councilmember Easlick.
Here.
Excellent. Councilmember Ewing. Present. Okay. Councilmember Gadd is not going to be with us. All right. Councilmember Vo, Vice Chair, is present. And Councilmember Welsh. Are you here?
I am here.
She's so here. So much. Okay. So let's jump on in. We have number 1 is Resolution RS 2024-302, Porterfield, Stiles, Coopin, and Welsh approves an application for an Arts Build Communities grants from the Tennessee Arts Commission for the Metropolitan Arts Commission to support art projects that strive to ensure that all Nashvillians have access to a creative life through community investment, artist training, public art, and direct art programs involving the public. Do we? Oh, and
Second.
Awesome sauce. Is there anyone here that wanted to speak to that? Is that okay? It seems very self-explanatory. Does anyone have any questions? We good with this grant? Sounds good. Okay. All in favor? Aye. Awesome. Second resolution, RS 2024-310, Taylor, Porterfield, Stiles, and Welsh accepts an in-kind grant from the Centennial Park Conservancy to the Metropolitan Board of Parks and Recreation to fund the purchase and installation of an Art Century security system at the Parthenon.
Move. Second.
Awesome. Roten, is this in your wheelhouse? Is this your bailiwick?
It's in our wheelhouse. It's putting cameras up out there at the Parthenon, so we make sure people aren't taking things.
From the outside, nothing on the inside, just the outside.
Inside.
And inside too, that's where the main, we don't want people taking things from the inside.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Awesome sauce. RS 2024-311, Prep Teat, Porterfield, Stiles, and Welsh accepts an in-kind grant from the Friends of Green Hills Park to the Metropolitan Board of Parks and Recreation to install a new water fountain by the playgrounds and construct a wind telephone in Green Hills Park.
Move. Second.
What is a wind telephone?
I knew that was coming.
Who wants to tell me?
I can explain it if you
No,
like.
it's you.
No, a wind telephone is like a booth where people go and speak to those who have gone on before them.
It's grief management.
How does that work now? It's just a thing and you speak to the sky?
You talk on a telephone to them.
Oh, it's a phone.
Yes.
It's unconnected. It's not connected.
There's no real
Well,
connection.
where's it?
I mean, he was like a phone, but
I mean, it's hard to call heaven. Very expensive.
Call collect.
I did a little research on this now. So a Japanese man, he had his wife died of cancer. And he did this where he went out, he had a garden every day, he had a phone booth, went out and he picked up the phone, spoke to his wife every day on the phone. And then they had the tsunami over there, and people put them up everywhere over there. And so then some lady at Vanderbilt who does cancer research did one here in Tennessee. Now they're all over the United States.
Oh.
And so Green Hills, they have decided to come up with the money to do one there in the park at Green Hills.
And this is going to be the first one that we have in Nashville.
In the park system.
Okay, delightful. Are we, anyone else have any questions? I thought that was a pertinent question to ask. All right, all in favor? Aye. Fantastic. RS 2024-312, Ewing, Porterfield, Stiles, and Welsh accepts an in-kind grants from the Friends of Warner Parks to the Metropolitan Board of Parks and Recreation to provide funding for the renovation and expansion of the Warner Park headquarters.
Move. Second.
Awesome sauce. This seems self-explanatory. All in favor?
Aye.
RS 2024-319, Huffman, Coopin, Vo, and others, a resolution requesting NDOT and the Department of Parks and Recreation establish and implement a wildflower program to plant indigenous wildflowers and perennial and annual plants native to Middle Tennessee in Nashville and Davidson County.
Move. Second.
And how did this come about? This particular
to-
plan to?
I'm happy to
Yes,
speak
please.
to that, Chair.
Thank you.
Yeah, so this was a campaign item that I had just through really but basically a beautification commissioner in a neighboring district that handed these seeds out. And I saw the joy that it brought people. Then I started doing research into all the benefits in regards to wildflowers. So when I was elected in August, had a meeting with Director Alarcon in September and Director Odom as well. Pitched it to them. They got on board pretty quickly. I will say I've done extensive research on how to do this by really referring to the North Carolina Department of Transportation, who has a really excellent wildflower program that's roughly about 25 years old at this point. But the way that this is going to work is it's a resolution to request that the program be started. This year will be a concept through partnering with parks in a couple of our parks. Ravenwood in my district will be one in which we will focus on. And then also through beautification commissioners of many of my co-sponsors. I've asked those individuals to find 2 spots within your district, and we will take money from the beautification budget to pay for the seeds. The only exception to where wildflowers will not be planted will be in Councilmember Foe's district, where there will be sunflowers planted.
Oh, okay, so we can sign on and get our beautification commissioners on if we're not, okay.
Absolutely, yes.
I like this. This is nice.
I dressed for the occasion.
I appreciate that, sir. Thank you very much. Thanks for the coordination.
Are there any other questions? Yes, Councilmember Porterfield, welcome to the committee.
Thank you. I know I'm not on the committee, but I did have some questions, which is why I wanted to hop in. Would you like me to address the questions to you or to the sponsor?
By all means, please address them to the sponsor. I'm good with that.
Okay, thanks. Thank you so much for this. I think this is a wonderful idea. I spoke about beautification commissioner when I was a district council member about doing some wildflowers in 29. My 2 questions were, the 3 I know it's just asking parks to do it, so it's not tying their hands, but how are the 3 parks chosen? Because it's Shelby, it's Ravenwood, and then Bell's Bend.
Bell's Bend, yes.
Yeah.
That's correct. That was through consultation with parks, and it's based on nothing more than just what they've chosen. So we can roll it out to more parks. If you've got some in mind, you just got to get that man over there's buy-in.
Hi, Roden.
I was just told, I talked to the nature folks, Jim Hester today, and he said that he had talked to Jordan. Obviously, Ravenwood is where they've been out walking around. Shelby had mentioned the possibility of this, and then I was told that Bell's Bend, that we didn't know kind of how Bell's Bend was working. So that's all I know about kind of how those 3 came up. So, but I'm sure there's others that might.
So then, and my second question, and then I'll tie them in, for the intersections that NDOT will be putting the flowers. Do we know like what those intersections are and how they were chosen?
Yeah, so this year, as far as NDOT's involvement, we've only asked beautification commissioners to pick the spots. NDOT planning them on hard-to-mow areas or medians would kick in next year. If Director Alarcon would like to pick another site, she's absolutely able to do that. We were chatting at the beginning where we may do that. So we're open to suggestions if you have any, though.
Perfect. My only suggestion is just like making sure that this is like equitable, that it's across the city, that it's, diverse communities, that it's, because reading the legislation, it is specifically saying like those 3 parks. So that's like 3 parts of town, but like, I don't know about Council Lady Styles, but she has a beautiful Mill Ridge Park in her community that may want this, or other communities may want this as well. And if they may not have known to get their beautification person to sign on, we just don't want any community to be left behind. So thank you for bringing this. I think it's a wonderful idea and would love to see it across the city.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's great feedback. And if you've got anybody in particular you'd like me to reach out to, council member, I'd love to work with you and your beautification commissioner on this. My beautification commissioner is running point in regards regards to the communication
Okay.
with the other beautification commissioners. So if any questions are had in regards to like what seeds to purchase and all of that, you can contact her and I can get you that info.
That's fantastic, because we actually are getting ready to do an all Antioch cleanup, April 20th. So I know all 5 district council people would love to hear about this. This is a great way to get community involved in our beautification efforts. So thank you for bringing this forth, everyone that is a co-sponsor. So, I mean, I'm for it. Are we all in favor?
Yes.
Awesome sauce. And no one's opposed? Great, and there are no abstentions. I've been overlooking that. Okay. Councilmember Coopin was very kind to ask about the purple marlins and their Martins, sorry, and their displacements. And I believe you brought Director Alarcon to tell us?
Got one more bill.
Oh, McGillicuddy? Oh, it's your bill. That's why I'm looking at your name.
Don't forget about my
Forgive me.
bill. Which one?
But I was talking about you.
Special event zone. Oh, that's okay.
Fourth of July.
All right, so BL 2024-260 provides for the designation of public property within specified areas of downtown Nashville as a temporary special event zone during the time period beginning at 6 o'clock a.m. on June 5th, 2024, and ending at midnight on June 10th, 2024, relative to the use of these areas in conjunction with the 2024 CMA Fest and related activities and events.
Move.
All in favor? There's no discussion, right? We're not discussing this. It's every year. So, all in favor? Great. Nobody's against it. No abstentions. Woo-hoo! Purple Martins. Director Alarcon, can you talk to us about what we're gonna?
Do you want me to give a little context?
Oh, please, knock yourself out.
Well, thank you, Chair, for having me. During the campaign season, I was kind of alerted to this Purple Martin situation in downtown, and then recently it's kind of risen to the news, and I started to receive questions from constituents and various individuals, so I felt that this would be an appropriate place to have people present on it and to have y'all ask any questions. So I appreciate you making the time. I've got Director Alarcon is here, Alan Valentine, who's the director of the Symphony, is here, and then Tom Turner with the Downtown Partnership, who've all been working hard with former council member, now Mayor O'Connell, on alternatives within this current plan. So I'll let y'all take it away from there.
Me? Okay.
Thank you for joining us, Director.
No problem. I appreciate it. The Purple Martins actually come to root every single year. And we actually have done years of study and had years of discussion with many different groups and entities about a solution for the hundreds of thousands of these Purple Martins that come to actually roost here, roost, every single year. And they are very attracted to the trees that have been surrounding the symphony. And so we have 10 trees in particular that are most attractive for the birds, and they actually have come down, and it creates quite a spectacle for us for quite a few weeks. It's very costly to maintain, I want to share. And so we have been working with the Symphony, and they have agreed to take down the trees that are in the public right-of-way along the Symphony walkway and replace them for us. And then our partners over at the Downtown Partnership will work with us on actually watering the trees so that we can make sure that they have a chance to fully root and come to fruition as a true canopy tree. And we have been working with the water department because there's an opportunity for the birds to actually move over to a site over by the water department where there's trees there that the birds are also very attracted to, and it's a little bit out of the way, so we're not dealing with the public because right there is a very public space that's available. We're looking to actually have this done by the end of March. So that we are ahead of when, because they send scouts down to actually pick the place to roost. And so this will give us a chance to have the trees removed so that they'll go and look for other spaces and not be in the middle of it. So we're actually doing this ahead of their actual season of being here. We and the space for the water is actually over in Germantown, just to let you know, but it is kind of away from, so it's not around homes, it's just it's a space off of it. There's also some areas over in a couple parks that the birds are also attracted to. And so the mayor is really committed to being a city that supports a healthy bird population, and he'll continue to work with the Urban Bird Treaty Corps partners to implement the plan where feasible. So we are looking to practice best management practices when it comes to the birds. And again, looking to remove the trees, replant them. We want to do this by the end of March so that when they come down, when the scouts come down, they're actually going to find another place to go roost versus it being in this very public establishment and place. So.
And you feel like you have excuse me. Pardon me, Madam Chair, may I?
Yes, Councilmember Ewing.
You may.
It just occurs to me it's the 19th, so you don't have much time, but you feel confident that you'll
Yes.
be able to.
Yes, and if you'd like, I can provide a very brief little bit of history. This actually started in 2020, right after COVID hit, we had to shut down. And it was caused because someone took the trees down across the river where they were roosting near a truck stop. And so they had to find a new place. And that's what they do. And they came to our facility. We didn't know they were purple martins. We thought they were starlings. We had the guys coming out to spray grapeseed oil to drive them off. When I got a call from the mayor's office late at night, stop, so we did. I learned all about the birds and the Bird Treaty Act, and we are actually very empathetic to the birds and sympathetic to the birds. We engaged the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Jonathan Walls, who's a wildlife specialist there, who came. We had a lot of interested parties, and Tom was really fantastic to step in and say, let's convene all of the interested parties. And we had several meetings. I have pictures and a slideshow we used back then if anybody wants to see, but there are several challenges with these birds, and so we hoped they wouldn't come back the second year. They did. It ended up costing us across those 2 years more than $100,000 of cleanup for the symphony, a nonprofit. And we can't power wash the building every year is a problem. There's I think, a public health hazard issue here because the trees are over concrete. They're not over dirt where the droppings would be absorbed. So they have to be power washed all the time. And that means like every day. And
Every day.
These two helped a lot this last year. We reached an agreement with the Cooper administration that we would take down our trees and replant. We've done all of that. We have new native trees. By the way, these are also invasive trees. They're Chinese elms. We didn't know that when we planted them. But they've managed to make their way onto the invasive species list in every state around us but Tennessee so far. And we're going to put beautiful native trees back and space them out a little differently. And it has to do, the attractiveness of these trees to the purple martins has to do with the branch structure. And so the USDA has advised us, Kim Hawkins and Hawkins Partners is advising us, and we are actually, we've picked trees that we think will do that job over time. And in terms of best practices, removing the trees before the martins get here allows them to find a new roosting spot. And then, we'll put those new native trees back. And so that's kind of the history of it. But I do think there's a real public health hazard. I can show you pictures here of the droppings that were so massive, they clogged the street drains. We were washing them into the streets and sidewalks every day. And you know how people are, mother walking a baby in a stroller, pacifier falls out, stick it back in the mouth, that kind of stuff. We've seen that.
That's horrible. Okay.
It was in the fountains, it was everywhere, all over the building. So it's a challenge, and we're trying to be good stewards of all these resources. We care very much about the trees, we care very much about the birds, but it's a question of managing this well. And so the media doesn't always have all the facts.
I appreciate everyone coming together to work on this, and Downtown Partnership Symphony. I'm glad that a conversation was started previous administration, and we're able to actualize that. So I appreciate Councilmember Cooper, for bringing everyone here. I'm going to get to them. I wanted to thank you first for bringing everyone here.
Thank you for letting us come.
Councilmember Cap?
Couple quick questions. What are the new trees?
The new trees are being considered right now are bald cypress, bur oak, and another oak that I can't look it up on my phone, but and their recommendations. Kendra Abkowitz is involved in this discussion, Kim Hawkins and Laura Schroeder at Hawkins Partners, all of us at the Symphony, and we also got some of these recommendations originally from Jonathan Walls. And during the agreement we made with the Cooper administration where we took those trees down, they wanted to go ahead and try leaving those 10 trees on Symphony Place. The original discussion was to take them all down at the same time. And so we tried that. We did some what we call depredation kind of activities, a falconer, loud noises, all that stuff to try to keep them from coming back that year. And the agreement was that if they returned, we would take the trees down. Well, they returned this last year, and it was again terrible. And I have fresh pictures from that. And so this is sort of the completion of a process that was started.
And thank you. What you said something about the branch structure of the trees. Could you?
The Chinese elms, first of all, were planted relatively close together, and they have a branch structure that is more horizontal than vertical. Purple martins are relatively small birds, and they need vertical branch structures for roosting, and horizontal branch structures for roosting. And the trees were also what they call pleached trees, meaning they were grown and cut to be like a gigantic hedgerow up off the ground. So the way Jonathan Walls at USDA described it is basically you built a condominium complex for purple martins because they can move from one to another without ever going outside the confines of it. And so it was an ideal, they like to feel safe, and it was sort of hiding the purple martins. But by the end of each season, when they were here, the trees were completely denuded, and there were broken and dying limbs, and it was a real mess.
And so you're saying there are trees that have similar branch structures that are in Germantown that you think will be attractive to the martins?
I believe that's right. The Water Department wrote, I think,
Yes.
the Water Department has
Yes.
been
Yes, sir.
focused on that, yeah.
Thank you.
Vice Chair Rowe, did you?
Yes. Thank you all so much. Can you share what the breakdown of the cost was when you were saying it cost $100,000 and then you were saying it's over a few weeks? So can you just expand on what that is?
Sure. It's about 2 months. We had to power wash almost daily.
Yep.
We did have to power wash daily. It's 100,000 birds living on our property at night, in the trees, and so you can imagine the droppings. We had to power wash our building, which cost $65,000. After the second season, we waited. After the first season, we knew we weren't starting back up yet. But after the second season, we had to power wash the building, and it's porous limestone, so you can't do that every year or it'll destroy the building. That was $65,000. And then I think it was about $30,000 a year just in cleaning up on the site to make it habitable and to clean up the droppings basically, but you don't really clean up the droppings. What you do is you turn it into it emulsifies, and you're using a power washer with water, and you've created this soup of Lord knows what, and it's in the streets. It goes into the streets and the street drains and the sewer system.
Not a good thing.
And so it's not a good,
It's not a good thing. The drains lead to the river. It's not a good
It
thing.
even washed into the building the first 2 years because there was so much of it. The street, the exterior drains got clogged, and water would pool, and then it just literally washed into the front doors of the building. It was in the marble of the building.
Wow, okay.
Thank you. And last question, because I would say there's been community members who are concerned and, they just are wondering, I just want to make sure, was this the best alternative? And then, what other options were there? And then how you came to this conclusion? And clearly it was a conversation that started many years ago, but I think that's not been clear.
We involved USDA deliberately because that very question was the question we were all asking ourselves. What is the best practice here? What is the right way to do this? Jonathan Walls came to a meeting we had Tom's place and said, yes, this is in fact the way you can address this problem, the best way to address this problem. And there is a Bird Treaty Act. It's against federal law to harass these birds because it will, you will disrupt their migration to South America. Purple martins are wholly dependent on humans for their survival. And so, you know, everybody has martin houses in their backyards and all of that. So every year they come up here to the United States, and in our particular case, there are roosts in other areas of the country too, but in our particular case, they come into the US and they disperse all over the region and live in purple martin houses in backyards and other habitats that humans create. And then at the end of the season, usually about mid-July, they come together for a gigantic roost and they fatten themselves up for the flight to South America. And then about mid-September, they take off and start flying to South America. And when they get to South America, they do the exact same thing in reverse. They go and they stay in people's homes or backyards and then come together for a roost and then fly back up here.
I will also
So they're really fantastic.
Yeah. I'll also share that there were suggestions of alternative mitigation for us to do, and we did try it, and that was not successful. So that's why we're in the place that we are in.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilmember Walsh.
I just wondered what the cost is going to be to remove the trees and replant, and where that money is actually going to be coming from.
The symphony's going to pick that up because the alternative is the cost of cleanup is greater than the cost of replacing the trees. So I didn't bring the figures in front of me, but I can get them for you if you like.
No, it just feels like it should kind of be a shared cost, given that this affects all of us and whatever, so.
Well, I will say that the city has suggested we do certain things. I mean, these two partners here have been fantastic for us. And I also should give a shout out to the Nature Conservancy and to the Tennessee Wildlife Federation, because they actually helped raise the money the first 2 years to pay for the cleanup. And so we're deeply grateful to them. They also helped with a lot of advice, a lot of, so they were involved. You may not be aware of this, but after 2021, when they came back the second time and we took down the 31 trees on our property, we also made a contribution to the Parks Department to buy bird transmitters so they could track the purple martins in our area.
And that's also helped fund additional trees throughout the city.
Yeah, we made a contribution to the tree bank. And the gentleman who was, maybe he's still there, who was in charge of the tree bank is actually the guy who pointed out that those trees are actually invasive, and if we don't do something about them, they're going to be all over the region. And because the seeds are going to go down the storm sewers, end up in the river, and then there we go. So there's another aspect to that story, which is we're doing better by putting native trees in.
Thank you. Oh, Councilmember Benedict, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you, and I hope that, I'm sorry I got here as quickly as I can. Thanks for recognizing me, even though I'm not on committee. Timing-wise, was timing covered earlier? Because, okay, I'll just watch the committee later.
Yeah,
Thank you.
We're going to take those trees down maybe as early as Monday. We're waiting for this meeting to conclude. And then we're sourcing right now the replacement material. There are some challenges with nurseries, so it may be the fall planting season before we get it done, but we're going to try to do it right now.
And they'll have a home in July?
And, yes, because they'll move.
Yes, when the scouts come down, they'll find another place to actually roost.
It's not going to be at the water department at this point in time on that property?
There is an
It might be.
opportunity for it, because actually the tree limbs there are actually a good
They
place.
already exist?
Yeah.
Cool, thanks. Sorry, thank you.
And, go ahead.
Just wanted to add, we have a existing relationship with Metro Water and Sewer and Urban Forestry. So we've been watering trees that have been put in tree wells downtown for a number of years. So we monitor the water bags, monitor precipitation, work with the urban forester to make sure that oftentimes trees that are put in tree wells suffer from lack of water. So this is just a small extension of that for us from the care and maintenance going forward.
And I will say, actually, we have irrigation where we put those trees in to begin with when we built the Skirmerhorn. and we have irrigation there, so that will get repaired when we take the trees out. I mean, it's in good shape now, but once we take, start taking the trees out, it's gonna mess it up, so we're gonna fix that, and the trees will get plenty of water when we replant.
Thank you. Councilmember
Yeah,
Allen.
I just was gonna ask, so the new trees that got planted, have they had any purple martins roosting in them?
Not
Did they
really.
come back?
No, the new trees, mainly because they're so small, but also the branch structures are
Or
different.
different? And then how about the Country Music Hall of
And
Fame?
the Country Music Hall of Fame trees are the same way. They're very vertical branches.
Okay. Great.
Are there any other questions? Thank you. This was a great conversation. Appreciate you taking the time to come.
Well, we appreciate all of you for everything you do for us.
Likewise.
Thank you.
Any other questions? We're good? Well, thank you very much for that presentation. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone.
I have one other thing to discuss. I have submitted to council office for our name change for arts, parks, libraries, and entertainment. So now we find out next step. Yes, Apple. So it'll then go to rules, and then it'll become a vote that we have to do on the floor. So just wanted to give you a heads up
So
on
we all
that.
need to show up at the rules committee.
I mean,
With apples in it.
oh my gosh, with apples. But the other thing is, as we had some of you came to the press conference last week, and so we did have a resignation of one of the arts commissioners on Friday, Mr. Will Cheek. So thank you for those that signed on to that resolution, and we are still working on Metro Arts. We are still waiting to hear back. I'm hoping that we have some kind of resolution. Believe there may be something that we hear this week, so keeping abreast and up to date. So we still have artists to pay and we still have internal issues to address, but the ball is moving. We're not stuck anymore. So just wanted to give you all that update.
Oh, yeah, real quick.
Yes, Vice Chair.
So, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but it's, the Metro Arts, we're gonna be putting, an art installation at the fairgrounds. And I actually worked on this project when I was like a citizen, when Colby, former council member Sledge asked me to serve on it, so it's finally happening. So whenever we have the, dedication, I'll let you all know, but I'm really excited. Blessing Hancock, is putting it, and, it's really beautiful. And so the name, it's in Latin, and it's L-O-Q-U-I.
And so is this going to be an event where we get an invitation? Is
Yeah,
that gonna be
I'll make sure
all
y'all know.
council members? Okay.
Yeah, I'll make sure y'all know.
I saw the rendering of it, it looks great.
It's-
When, like what ballpark, like?
The
June?
summer.
Summer, okay.
Summer.
Nice.
Okay,
Yes.
calendar invite, please have me
Yes,
send a
yeah.
calendar invite, not a flyer.
Once
I
it's
wanna
sent,
tell that to
like,
everyone.
it's not ready yet. But yes, very excited.
Thank you. Well, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Move. Second.
Boom. All in favor? Okay.
We're leaving.
Yeah,
Too much
we're
fun.
done. Bye.
Someday I'm gonna oppose it.